What is good, family? My beautiful conscious family, my beautiful YouTube family, Soulful Brody, back at it again with another video. I don't know what the heck that was, but man, I feel so much more positive now after I've been going through a little bit of a negative energy rough patch, I would say. But I feel so much growth as a person right now. I think I'm going to start every video off with just a little bit of a little diary entry, if you want to call it that, just on my energy and where I'm feeling right now. Because I got some good things to talk about today. Because I learned a lot. But my energy is doing well. I'm doing all right. So, big topics. I don't know if even the spiritual community understands them fully. But today, I'm going to be talking about consciousness, what it is, losing your ego. And I mentioned this in a lot of videos, and I'm just in a completely different stage of consciousness, I think, now. Not completely, but I'm learning. It's a progress. I'm staying patient with it, but ego. How do you know if your egotistical mind is controlling you? How do you really know it? I think half of it is if you knowing your egotistical mind is controlling you, then you're vibrating at a higher consciousness. What I mean by this, consciousness, think of consciousness as another term of awareness. As in, you are aware of everything going on around you. You're not succumbing to your egotistical side that has been programmed to you since we were kids to react a certain way. You are aware of it. It's almost like staying on alert within yourself and thinking how you would normally react in the egotistical manner, but reacting to it at a higher consciousness level. Let me give you an example. I love getting into these like deep conversations like this with my good buddies, and normally at the end of the night when we're all having a good time, it gets deep, and there's a lot of talking back and forth. There's a lot of sighs because everybody believes something different, and it's tough for me to really explain myself to them and this conscious spiritual way of thinking. But I find myself in a lot of these moments more worried about almost like winning the argument, like, because I know it's right for me, and they don't fully grasp the whole idea of consciousness and spirituality for that matter, that I'm like too worried about myself winning the conversation and then seeing that my side is the right way. And that is very egotistical to think like that. But me realizing that I start succumbing to these sort of reaction-based scenarios where I'm not really listening anymore at this point. I'm just talking, and that competitive drive is there, that little ego is there. But me realizing that and becoming aware of it is me stepping into the state of consciousness. It's like, if you're a crazy person, like I sometimes like to say, like, people like us, we're crazy because we have like outlandish way of thinking, I guess. But me realizing and understanding and becoming aware that a little bit of me is crazy isn't crazy at all. What would be crazy is if you are like this mindset and you think that you're completely normal, you're completely fine. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who's actually crazy doesn't think they're crazy, and someone who's actually crazy knows they're a little bit crazy. There's a big difference. And that's where the higher state of consciousness comes in. Now your ego, everything that you perceive, thinking is almost like, not even like the world revolves around us, but like you see, it's like the images you give yourself and you give other people. Like me, my ego self would be like, oh, you're just this blonde dude with a headband. That's like the ego side looking at you. But when you look deeper within and you eliminate all the physicalness, and you go from within, and it's more of a feel thing rather than like a visual thing. You start to lose that ego, because we're all souls having a human experience. This is just a body. This is just a carrier, so to speak, from what's really inside. And that's very interesting. I encourage you all to be conscious throughout your day. Even just keep reminding yourself to be like, is this my ego side talking, way of thinking? And if it is, great, because then you're recognizing it. And if it is, you know what to do. You know how to fix it. You know how to act consciously. And I think if the world acted consciously throughout everything, we would start to see progression. Which leads me to my next point of consciousness, higher state of consciousness. I said awareness is basically consciousness, and I talk about how we can progress consciously now. How to progress consciously, because like I said, this point of this channel is to raise the vibration of the planet and to wake as many people up as possible and to boost the consciousness on the planet. So when I say boost it positively, it's not always going to be such a direct, easy path. Sometimes you have to regress in order to make progress. It's kind of crazy, but think of it like this: how like when you're ready to do like a standing vertical, so you're dunking a basketball and you want to jump as high as you can. You got to take steps back and then go up. You got to take a little step back every once in a while. And a lot of you people who are waking up, a lot of people who watch my videos, I'm sure you've been through some struggle. This is why I talk about in a lot of my other videos how we have to embrace the negative parts in life and the regression of life, like how I'm going through like a little bit of I would say just like a negative energy patch, but I have to look at the positive, because you have to regress in order to progress. It's how it is not, and this isn't always the case. Like for me, my first stage of awakening, I had to go through very substance abuse problems, very depression, a lot of social problems, a lot of anxieties, and that's a very regressive way of living, but it brought me to the beast I know today, which is myself. So like I'm thankful for those moments. But so what I think of the universe and the collective as a whole is like when we look at these events that look like we're still regressing, it's only a matter of time before it goes positive. And like just an example with all this social injustice that's been going on, at least it's being brought to surface. Like yeah, it's terrible, like regression that black people get treated like this, and it's like still going on, but it's being brought to surface, so now we can react and we can adjust as a human collective, as a human consciousness. And like I said, it doesn't always have to be regress first and then progress. My goal is to try to make it as straightforward path as possible, where it's only positive progression. And it's possible. But it's funny, on a universal scale, the universe, when I say we're all one, you gotta believe me, like my last video, check it out, how we're all one. We're all the universe. Every living thing, me, you, those trees, these flowers, these bugs, these animals, they are a living expression of the universe. Because the universe is one consciousness. Think about it. Think about the universe being one whole consciousness. And we are representations of that. We are expressions of that. We are artists. We're basically an art form ourselves. And that's why I say we're all beautiful souls when it comes down to it. But the whole point, the whole purpose, I would say, of the universe is to expand its consciousness. And that's not egotistical. What if you think of the universe as egotistical in that sense? That doesn't make sense. Like the whole goal of the universe is expanding its consciousness, because that's all it is doing. That is the beautifulness. So if you think about it like that this is why I know when so many people are waking up, this is what I talk about, like the golden age, the golden generation. We are waking up because the universe is ready to wake up. And I see it. And we've gone through a lot of regression and a lot of negativity, and the only way to go from up, I see more and more and more of it every day. And I talk to a lot of more woke individuals. Woke. I always talk about how I hate that term, but awakened. just got a new perspective on things. And if that makes any sense to you videos, I hope that some of this part of the video makes sense. But to wrap it up, just be consciously aware. Try to stay out of that egotistical self, that egotistical way of thinking. It's almost just like go with the flow, be water. Open up that sacral chakra, man. But anyway, I don't really know how to wrap this up, but man, leave a like, leave a comment. Please subscribe, guys. If you guys know anybody else who might like these videos or might be appreciative of these videos, I'm going to keep pumping them out now. Thank you all so much. Soulful Brody, once again, signing up.